did you see guys that had more ability that maybe did not even come close or having understanding of the mental game that just never made it because they couldn't go pitch to pitch or control what they can control or some of those things you're talking about?
Absolutely. For the most part, I saw it from the high school player because a lot of times those programs don't have the resources to get a Brian Kane or a Ken Ravizza or someone that is going to help them on the mental side. It's mostly they're going to get by with their physical gifts. Well, in Pro Bowl, ultimately that stuff starts, really all the stuff starts evening out in terms of the physical ability. And the thing that I saw was a separator was the mental game. Not only just how to deal with failure, but how to deal with success, because you're going to have success. How do you prolong that success? How do you keep the negatives and the failures at a minimum and prolong your success? And a lot of that has to do with how you treat failure and how you treat success. So there's way more talented guys in single A, double A, triple A than myself. And I think, once again, it was a commitment to the knowledge that the separator was going to be the mental game. So you can fly right by people just because they're relying and thinking that it's a physical thing, but really it's the 6 inches between your ears.
What's one of the first things that you like to instill in them or that you want to talk about?
I think the first thing is that you really got to look at is how much of this game's physical and how much is mental. And you've got to be addressing the mental side of the game a little bit anyway. You've got to really look at how do you go about controlling yourself in performance. When you look at your ABs last year, how many ABs did you give away where the pitcher didn't beat you, but you beat yourself? And the key becomes if we could cut that in half, where you could get control of yourself in that box and go pitch to pitch. Because one of the things we hear about all the time with hitting is we hear that hitters are unsuccessful 7 out of 10 times. And that's a fact. But the reality is the hitter only has to beat the pitcher 1 pitch. 1 out of 3 pitches. You can lose 2 pitches. You only have to beat him 1 pitch. And we forget that. But the key becomes, how do I get to that 1 pitch after I've just gotten beaten on 2 pitches? That's the mental game, really. I mean, in one sense, for hitters. For pitchers, the issue becomes one of making sure you're ready when you put your foot on the rubber. And I think a fascinating question becomes, what's it mean to be ready? Because if you're on the last pitch, you're on the error the shortstop made, bad call by the umpire, you're not here. And the key becomes you got to be where you need to be when you need to be there. And you need to be right here on this pitch.
That's awesome. How would you define mental toughness? I know that term gets thrown out there all the time.
Mental toughness to me is having the ability to use 100% of what you got and be prepared to win the next pitch. That's mental toughness. So what does that mean? You're not going to feel good. And for high school players, where you guys tend to get into is you want to feel good. You want to have your swing. This is not about having your swing and feeling good. This is about competing. And competing is you take blows, you absorb blows, but you get to the next pitch with what you got and you battle from there. That's what becomes critical.
Okay. And final question, what's one piece of advice you'd give to aspiring baseball players that want to take their game to the next level?
I think it's that point I just said. Feeling good is overrated. Being in the zone, overrated. You got to learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And the other thing I would say is get out there and compete. Play wiffle ball. Compete with your friends. It doesn't have to be a game all the time. It can be you and your buddies playing wiffle ball and battling your butt off and competing. Learn how to compete and feel bad and get the job done. That's what I'd recommend.
That's all.
right after stretch, we'll go into our hitting facility, and I'll plug in my iPhone, and we'll go through some, whether it be, each day is a little bit different. We might do some breathing exercises where the guys are laying down and we're going through some breathing exercises. The next day we might go through just a little meditation of listening to you and your pitcher mental imagery training tracks that we have on my iPhone. So they're laying down. If people would walk by and wonder what's going on, we're all laying down. The lights are off, and the guys are laying on their back, and people are wondering, are they practicing or sleeping? Well, this is a huge part of our practice plan, is to get them tuned in right at the beginning of practice. And so we do it every single day, anywhere from 5 minutes up to 15 to 20 minutes. Some days I'll jump in there after listening to your podcast, and then I'll take over, and we'll go through some mental innings where I put them in situations and they have to go through what they are seeing visually with their eyes closed, and just because you can only get on the mound so much as a pitcher. So my philosophy here is how are we going to get better as a pitching staff when we can get on a mound maybe 2 times, maybe 3 times in a week? Are we only going to get better as a pitcher by being on the mound 3 times a week? Well, for me, that's a no. We're going to get better 6 days a week or 5 days a week, whatever we have practice plan wise. But whether it be mental bullpens, whether it be shadow work, we spend a ton of time without throwing a baseball getting better, and it all has to do with how your mind is going to be able to take over what you're physically doing. You know, your mind, your body doesn't understand the difference between you physically doing it or if you are doing it mentally and doing
powerful techniques you're ever going to learn about self-control through breathing. This technique is called the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. It's a small body scan that's going to put you in control of yourself and get you to pause and stop during the chaos of your day. This technique was taught to me by one of my mentors, Dr. Rob Gilbert at Montclair State University, and it's a technique that I've used with coaches, athletes, and performers for years. It's a technique that's going to work for you and help you learn to be in control of yourself, because as Dr. Ken Ravizza, author of Heads Up Baseball, always says, you got to be in control of yourself before you can control your performance. So let's get right into it. The first thing I want you to do is remove all distractions, turn off the TV, put your phone on airplane mode if you have downloaded this audio track from iTunes. And what I want you to do is get in a good, quiet, comfortable position, either sitting down or laying down on the floor. And I want you to fix your eyes at a spot on the wall or ceiling in front of you. I want you to focus on that spot, and now let your eyes gently shut as you inhale, breathing nice and deep through your nose, and exhale out your mouth. And as you inhale, I want you to count 4 to 6, and as you exhale, I want you to count 6 to 8. I want you to slow yourself down, slow your mind down, and just go one breath at a time. I'm now going to ask you some simple questions. What's 2 plus 2? What street did you grow up on? What is your middle name? Notice how quickly and easily those answers come to you. They're ingrained in you, just like the relaxation and self-control response. Sometimes you have to just let yourself relax, not make yourself relax. And the gateway to relaxation and being in control is through breathing. So as you continue to focus on your breathing, inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth, I will say the number 5, and put your awareness in your toes, the balls of your feet, your arches, your ankles, your Achilles, your calves, your shins, as they release, relax, and let go. And as I say the number 4, put that awareness in your knees, your quads, your hamstrings, your hips, as your whole lower body release, relax, and let go. And as I say the number 3, move that awareness into your abs, your obliques, your lower back, your mid back, your upper back, your chest, as your whole torso release, relax, and let go. And what you'll realize is that the more relaxed you become, the better you might feel, and the better you might feel, the more relaxed you might want to become. And as I say the number 2, I want you to let your traps in your shoulders, your biceps, triceps, elbows, hands, and fingers just release, relax, and let go. And as I say the number 1, pull that awareness up the back of your neck, the back of your head, the top of your head, your forehead, your eyes, your cheeks, your jaw. Your lips gently part and the tongue just hangs in your mouth as a complete and total body relaxation takes over. And what you'll realize is that the more relaxed you become, the better you might feel, and the better you might feel, the more relaxed you might want to become. I now want you to take one more good deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Open your eyes and bring yourself right back to this moment. And realize the time is now, the place is here. It's about dominating this day. It's about dominating this moment. This is all that exists. Stay in control of yourself to control your performance and dominate today.